my hand out, Jen.
Yeah.
Oh,
Quit peeping.
I'm looking.
gross.
6 Jen.
Yeah, so I was expecting Roll20 to hopefully handle a lot of this information, and it just hasn't kept it shared. So I guess in a way, it sort of subverted my expectations. Just like what you guys did last week.
Sorry, we're a disappointing bunch. Try.
A party that was so hell-bent on getting to East Haven suddenly
went
finds
west.
themselves west in Bryn Shander. So last week, you guys had woken up, still hungover, decided to trek out with a bunch of militia from Goodmead to finish off the last Verbeeg that you'd left going into the cave, only to find the cave abandoned and most of the store, except for maybe some mead, was gone.
It's a great movie, that, The Last Verbeeg.
The last Verbeeg. I've heard mixed reviews.
Big friendly Verbeeg.
You followed a pretty quick track through the forest, following a bunch of goats and a Verbeeg and probably another cave bear, or the same cave bear, which then hit the road, which was the east way. You followed it over, but the snow was starting to come down, and your handy hawk friend said that whatever you were chasing was at least a couple hours ahead of you. So you decided instead to turn west and head to Bryn Shander, which is where we leave ourselves.
At the gates of Bryn Shander.
Are the gates open or are they shut?
They are shut.
Yeah.
Why are they shut? What time is it?
It's getting late.
Let us in.
It's getting to perpetual evening. It's still probably, I'd say, late afternoon at this point.
Yeah.
Because you had to do a couple hours of travel from
Down
where
the
you were
road.
down the road.
Would I know how the gates work?
You have a pretty good idea that the town, or I should say city, because this is now probably the closest thing you're going to get, like with this East Haven and a couple others, the closest thing you'll get to a city up here. The city does generally keep its gates closed, especially when it's dark or when the weather's bad. But that doesn't mean you can't get in. There'll be guards posted that you can sort of ring a bell for, and then talk to them.
I'll ring the bell.
Alright, you approach the high walls. Hey, who's down there?
It's me, Horatio. I've returned.
Haru?
Go ask Mashan. She'll know.
Oh, you're that stuck up. No, I can't say that.
Can't say what?
It's you for the House of the Morning Lord.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. Are you going to let us in or not?
Oh, you're the new cleric we got. Is that right?
That's me.
Yeah, alright. And then you just hear clink, 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 clink. And they open the gate just enough for you to get in.
Giggity, 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 giggity. That's a tongue twister.
I'm going to move you guys on the map so you can see. Now, if you've got the physical map, which I think you guys have lost somewhere in this room, I'm just going to move you onto the map from Bryn Shander, which shows a couple of notable locations. You guys are coming in from the east gate, along the east way, of course. But the question is, where do you guys want to go?
Perhaps it would be best if we went back to the House of the Morning Lord and can at least report there. I suppose we could start there at the very least.
Yeah, we should definitely let them know that there was a Verbeeg roaming around.
Yes, or should we go immediately to the town speaker? Perhaps that would be more prudent. We can then go to the House of the Morning Lord after that.
Was the Verbeeg heading this way, or did he go the other way?
No, but I think it would be a good idea to send word from here. Perhaps they have some some owls or some
It's very Harry Potter.
pigeons or messaging pigeons or birds. Crows, even.
So what do we see just inside the gate?
So just inside the gate, you can see that whilst there is a wide enough road for wagons and sleds and things like that, there's no big central road that crisscrosses the town. If you can see the map that you've got in front of you, you can see where the road splits out wide enough, and you can probably denote main roads. They're directly either side of you. There are just residential houses going into the city. You know that if you're able to take a couple of winding streets north, you'll hit the House of the Morning Lord. If you want to go see the Speaker, you got two different places you could find them, either at the Town Hall or the Council Hall. The difference being is the Town Hall is usually generally there for town meetings. The Council Hall also doubles as sort of a resident for the Speaker. Horatio, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Speaker that much.
I know their name.
Yeah.
Devessa Shane. I was introduced to her very briefly. She seemed young but determined and seemed to have a level head. Yes, well, perhaps we can go and speak with the Speaker. I think we should try Did you say the first place was like the Council Hall?
The Council Hall is if you look at the map that you're on now, is quite far south of the city near the southwest gate.
Yeah.
And the Town Hall is pretty much near the centre of town. So you'd guess, unless she's out and about throughout the city, that the most logical place would be the Town Hall if she's working, and, if she gets late, retiring to the Council Hall at night, or maybe she just works from the Council Hall sometimes. You're not 100% sure.
Okay, we can go via the central one.
Yeah. Okay.
See what's happening about town.
Start there.
From just in a survival kind of way, when was the last new moon?
Oh, I've been waiting for someone to ask about that. You have been somewhat worried about that for a little while. You think you've actually got maybe about 4 days before that comes in.
Cool.
So we should get out of town before then.
We should leave very soon.
Maybe.
Are you saying this out loud?
Yeah. Svet is a bit nervous. She's put her hood back on, probably hiding you a little bit.
Oh, Carnelian is definitely, doing his best to remain undetected.
Yeah. How are you doing that, actually?
Staying close and in between, he's, gonna try and, get in between the three big people so that they block maximum line of sight.
Are you covering anything up or anything?
Oh, yeah, he's gonna, cloak over and, hood up.
Okay, sure. And Sveta's got just sort of, sinking into her hood.
I got a big hood. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll just turn to the guys and be like, don't want to be here for very long, right? Right?
I guess. Why not?
Well, Horatio would probably know, but when the new moon happens, they have sacrifices in these big cities, and we don't want to be there for that.
Oh, I thought that was just the small ones.
Oh, no.
No,
all of them.
It's like they get everyone's name, and it's like a lottery, and you could be chosen.
Oh my god. That's barbaric.
It's the way of life up here.
It was pretty confronting the first time I saw it.
How many do they sacrifice in a big city like this?
Just the one?
Just one.
Oh, okay.
But it could be you.
Could also not be me.
It's
true.
We could see that.
It's probably going to be someone no one will miss.
Don't say that.
It's supposed to be a lottery.
Well,
but I didn't want to stay in East Haven for long for a very good reason.
I'm probably the most concerned. My name's probably most likely to be on the lottery. Why would any of you have your name in there?
It happened to my parents, so it's probably going to happen to me because I look a bit different.
Are your parents from Bryn Shander?
No, they were... it doesn't matter. They were targeted, and Bryn Shander might do that as well if they saw my face. Or Carnelians. But did you piss off someone here?
No. I feel like we're talking about two different things. But, I mean, if you'd like to leave the town soon, then... Yes.
Just before the new moon.
Are you worried that they won't even bother with the lottery and they'll just kill a cat girl?
Probably.
Just because something should be fair doesn't mean it is fair.
Yeah. But
Very
we'll
well.
stay together, right?
Well, yes, of course.
Good.
Of course.
But we
All
won't
right.
be here for long.
Well, let's get cracking then.
Okay. So, this sort of town, you can see as it gets later and later in the afternoon and darker, the lanterns start coming out and lining the streets. It's a rather drab town otherwise. It's sort of this concentric, almost built like a fortified... Think of like a fortified outpost in the frontier. It's well stocked and well fortified, but it's not like it's a castle with big stone walls and proper big city defenses. It's as good as it can be. you start making your way to the center of town. You can see there are a couple of different places of business. People are selling, wares and that kind of stuff. A lot of residential housing. And you eventually get to Town Hall.
Can I just ask on the way, did we see, are the people here used to seeing people that they've never seen before? Would they notice that, me, for example, who's never been here, would people be, looking at me, or they don't even care when they see someone new, or...
Yeah, what I will say...
Peering out the windows and stuff.
What I'll say is that for Horatio and for Woden, no one really gives you a second thought, necessarily. People just pass you on the street as you'd expect them normally to. They may be a little bit, hurried, or they're not particularly... they're not super friendly or anything, and this is very common across the 10 towns as the long winter has been setting in. People are just sort of getting a bit icy, one might say. You can see you can see a lot of people don't necessarily give Sveta a second look unless maybe they look a bit closer, and they might give her a scowl. A lot of people are, you can see a couple of people might point towards Carnelian. Despite his best efforts of trying to be hidden, there's too many eyes, right? This is a big enough city.
I should probably put a towel or something on my owlbear.
Oh, yeah, there's an owlbear. So that's drawing probably the most attention.
I'll wrap him up like a little babushka and just carry him along.
There's a dog and an owlbear, because there's Dogcliff here as well.
Yeah.
There's a dog and an owlbear. And
a towel bear.
A dog bear.
That'd be sick.
So while people are giving, Carnelian a bit of a second look, and you get these mutters, you get more people who point out the owlbear. It's is that an owlbear? What's it doing in the city? I don't know. Why'd the guards let it in? It's following that lady. Does she have fur on her face? No, I didn't see it trailing off.
Hey guys, pretty cool, hey. You like what you see?
People
take a picture.
People look at you and then they just hurriedly walk away.
Yeah, see ya.
The people here are very on edge. I found that. Even in the few weeks I spent here, they tolerate you, but they don't really want anything to do with you.
You eventually make your way to Town Hall, and you can see, just as you arrive, there is a man that's closing up the front doors. It looks like he's locking them. It's late afternoon at this point. It's not unreasonable they might be locking it for the night.
Excuse me, good sir.
Oh, yes.
Oh, goodness. Is Devessa in? Speaker Devessa?
Oh, no, she's gone for the day.
Back to the council hall, right? You feel me?
I'm sorry, who are you?
It's me, Horatio. The cleric.
And we're council members.
What?
Nothing.
You're that new cleric that Miss Shan's been had for a couple weeks, yes?
Yes, that's me.
I'd heard... haven't seen you about recently.
No, I've been on eulogy duty.
Oh,
yes.
Sure. Oh.
I'm sure you're aware of Kendrick's death.
Oh, yes. Devessa had gotten a note about that a little while back.
Yes, well...
terrible things.
Yes, I was presiding over that funeral.
That was days ago.
It was days ago.
Where have you been?
Oh, just seeing the sights of Goodmead, of course.
Oh, wonderful. It's great that the church will allow you such leaves of absence from the shrine.
Thanks. Squint a bit.
The rest of us just have to work for a living, I suppose.
I see you're not a man of the cloth.
No. I'm a council clerk, if you will.
I see. Would I recognise this guy? Would I have seen him about at all?
Yeah, probably. His name is Jask.
Jask. Okay.
But he's not like a big figure or anything like that. Like, he's just one of many clerks.
Okay. Thank you. Jack, was it?
Jask.
Jask. We will go and seek out... We'll go and seek out Devessa.
Well, I don't know if she's returned to her residence, the council hall. She may be out. Sometimes she likes to take a bit of a walk of the perimeter of the town, you see. Keeps morale up.
Very well. Well, we will convene with her soon. Thank you, Jack. Appreciate it.
That's not my name.
Excuse me, Jack, are you open tomorrow?
To you? No.
At all?
No.
Okay, so tonight it is then.
I'll let you in a secret. If you can say my name properly, maybe you can come by tomorrow.
Jenks.
Please
Nope.
don't piss him off.
That's not it either.
Fine. Jask.
Oh, well, our opening hours are from 7:30, and we close around 3:30. My precise watch that I get in this magical land tells me it is time to close, though.
Is it the Casio?
It is a Seiko.
Oh.
Do they have a water clock?
Yeah, so he just pulls out on his wrist is this very complicated mechanism of flowing water and ticking gears.
Let me just
3:35. I must be going.
let me just check my sundial in the perpetual dusk.
It's called a moon dial here. Anyway, if that's it, I really must be going.
Of course. Thank you, Jask. We'll see
Toodaloo.
you around.
Toodaloo.
Well,
He starts
can-
walking off.
seems like it might be a bit tricky to just try and randomly bump into her if she's doing a perimeter walk. Perhaps that we could do a little wandering ourselves and then head to the council hall a little later when we think she's back there.
Where would you suggest?
I wouldn't mind reporting back to Mashan.
Sure.
Have we got somewhere to stay at the House of the Morning Lord?
Would
Do we need
they?
to find accommodation?
Would they be allowed to stay there?
You know,
Would
it's
I
not
know
a
that?
big. It's not like it's a big church with lots of rooms.
Oh, it's like a repurposed house,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah. Literally at the house of the Morning Lord. Yeah.
Yes, quite literally. I mean, you obviously have a bed. They might have one, an extra one spare somewhere, but it might be tough to get accommodation for everyone. Particularly since
We have an owlbear?
well, that's not necessarily the problem. It's like, why would they give you accommodation as well? Apart from Horatio obviously has been working there, but you've also been missing for a couple of days.
He was recruiting.
Sure.
Successfully.
But maybe that's
Why don't we
well.
just
Yeah.
do the thing where
More
we pay
accolades.
for a room?
Well, true. You're rich, so.
That sounds boring.
Not.
What? Do you want to break into a home?
Certainly worth a try. I mean, if they will give you a room, then
I meant at a tavern, right?
so did I. It seems like nobody's particularly interested in having any dealings with you, so I hope that the innkeep's a little more willing to accommodate us.
You know that there is an inn called the Northlook, which is an inn and tavern. They would have rooms, if anywhere.
Okay. Very well. Let's head to the House of the Morning Lord. I'll give you a little tour.
Yay.
It's quite literally a house, actually.
Like, smaller than mine?
Bigger than yours.
Bigger than mine.
It houses a few people, but not many.
Let's go.
Did the Morning Lord used to live there?
Well, be careful if you mention the Morning Lord, because their understanding of Morning Lord's a little different here than what it is further south.
What should we call the place then if we can't say morning?
You
Lord?
should definitely call it, and I'd pull out a little drum and start doing a drum roll.
The suspense is killing me.
A Mornator. How would you pronounce it, Callum?
That sounds good.
How do you spell it?
A Mornator. A-M-A-U-N.
Yep.
A-T-O-R. It could be a Mornator, it could be a Mounator.
A monitor.
I think I was thinking it was like Amunator. Yeah, because I'm thinking of it like Armin.
Yeah, but it's got that U in there.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit of a weird one,
A-U. A Marnator.
actually.
So for us, we would consider Lathander, the god of dawn and rebirth. However, she believes this to be an entirely separate deity. So please keep that in mind. It's all a Mounator.
Lysander? Who?
Lathander. Yeah, it's like
Lathander.
Lysander with someone with a lisp.
Lysander.
All hail Lord Lathander.
Lord Lysander.
She's the...
What's she do?
See?
Who is your Lathander and what does she do?
She is the god of dawn and rebirth. All hail Lathander.
So we should say we worship her?
You should definitely not. You should definitely...
Don't worship. Fuck Lathander.
Fuck Lathander, am I right? It should be a monitor. All hail a monitor, bringing all the light and screw that bloody Lathander, getting in all that light action.
We hate them.
We hate yes.
So much
Good. That was good.
passion.
Maybe pretending to worship a god you know nothing about isn't the greatest idea.
I don't see any trees that can hear me around here, so we should be fine.
I would suggest just responding if she brings it up. No need to overtly declare your love for a
Okay.
monitor, okay?
I'm so excited I get to see more healing people. Right?
Hairy people?
Healing
Oh, healing people, yes. Well, I suppose you might see a couple. I mean, there's no real other followers of Killamvor there. It's kind of a general place of worship for the whole town. Because there aren't any others. So they sort of combine there. Yes, I don't believe... Well, I don't think there was any other followers of Killamvor there at that time, was there?
No. The only other person you know that's there, which I know you've got your notes there, as an acolyte named Copper.
Yes, and he's got the best surname ever.
Nobanoka.
Nobanoka.
Legit.
Copper Nobanoka. And he actually is an acolyte of Lathander as well.
Okay.
Bastard.
So, just
We hate that guy.
logging into my memory,
Yes.
were there any other permanent occupants of the house other than those two?
No.
Okay.
You know that Copper as well is always a little bit at odds with Mishan in that he seems to be trying to press her buttons on the whole Lathander a monitor thing. Although he's not trying to push too far because obviously it's Mishan's place of worship.
Yeah, and he rents the attic.
Yes. But, he goes along because you know that from talking to him, he believes that it's the same deity. So he doesn't, he's just trying to sort of push her into that. But she she considers Lathander to be an usurper of the light. So it's a bit of a hot button issue for her. But she's generally it's not, she doesn't lash out immediately on that, but she can get quite touchy about the subject.
Place has more drama than Ramsey Street.
Didn't Neighbours get cancelled recently?
Yeah.
Probably.
Good.
Shall we go to the House of the Morning Lord?
You sure can.
Let us.
So the House of the Morning Lord, from where you are now, you have to take a bit of a winding north eastward direction, and as you approach the walls of the city, you can see a pretty decent sized house. It's two stories. Actually, it might be 3 stories with the attic if you include it. It's got some religious symbology, which you recognise is sort of that a monitor worship about the place, but it's not like it's anything. It's not like it's been designed from the get go to have that there. It's stuff that's been carved into the doorway or the archway. Other symbols that might be just posted up.
It's been clearly repurposed. This place, yeah.
And the bottom floor of this place, there's two floors and there's an attic. The bottom floor is been cleared out and all the rooms have been knocked in, so it's sort of like a worship hall. And there's an altar at the front, and there's some pews as well that sort of line it as well. And then there's a set of stairs that goes up, and you could know that there's a few rooms up there where the actual clergy resides. And then, as we've established, Copper lives in the attic.
All right. Well, is the door open? I suppose it being a house of worship.
It is. The house of worship is always open. You can see lining the hall, and very much like what you're expecting, there's candles lit, keeping this room well lit. And the shrine has a basin, which has a permanent, what's it called? A permanent flame spell, basically on a dish. So when Mishan's doing her sermons, she talks over through the flame.
Okay. Horatio, do you have any spare amulets or Morning Lord apparel that I can wear?
Not myself because I had all Cannonball stuff, but
Of course.
I'm sure Mishan could probably kit you out if you...
No, that's all right. I just hate being underdressed, so, wanted to fit in.
She's not one of those high priests you may remember from the big cities. She's much more modest than that.
And then from behind you, talking about me, not to me again, Horatio, are we?
Mishan, it's good to see you again.
Quite. I didn't expect you to be so late.
Forgive me, I got caught up in a couple of unexpected issues, but met some new friends along the way.
And she looks from
Hello.
you to Woden to Sveta and then down to Cornelia. It's like, I think I can see that, yes.
Yes, starting from the bottom, we have Carnelian.
Hey,
Welcome to the House of the Morning Lord.
thank you for having me.
We have Sveta
Hello.
Welcome.
and Woden.
Monitor forever.
And she she looks at Woden for a second, cocks her head to her side, and she walks up to you and just touches your face.
You get the pats.
Give her a nod.
The light is strong here.
Thank you. Light is strong with you too.
It's being covered by something, though, and she pulls away. Did you find your pilgrimage to be useful?
I very much did, Mishan. I found it very eye-opening to experience another region of the Ten Towns, and to deliver a eulogy for someone so well regarded as Kendrick, it was an immense honour.
Yes. And for you in particular, dealing with the dead.
Indeed. And in fact, I would say, during our time away, I feel I've become a little closer to Kellamvor, in fact. I've had some interesting experiences. He made his presence known to me, and I feel like I would very much like to continue walking in his path.
Good. Yes. I feel that you've taken the first step in your faith.
And just bow.
Well done.
Courteously.
I'll pat you on the back.
It's too bad
nothing
that you
really.
didn't choose the Morning Lord as your focus of worship. I think that would have been better fitted for you.
Yes, well, let's not talk about that again here.
Quite.
You can choose?
Well, sometimes the gods will choose you, of course.
But you see, Mishan, I think that's the thing. I think Kellamvor was calling me. He made his presence known to me.
Yeah.
I was a skeptic at first, but I feel like I am very much more of a believer now.
Yes. Yes, I can see it. The light welling within you. You have been touched. You have been blessed.
And I've blessed so many people.
Interesting. That still doesn't tell me why you are so late.
Indeed.
It's been days.
Indeed. Let us explain ourselves. So, as I was introducing my friends, I met them along the way, and we did a little bit of questing. As you may have heard, Goodmead was assaulted and Kendrick slain by a Verbeeg. Horrible creature. And we sought it out, and in fact, were able to slay it. However, it had a mate, and the mate fled. So there is very much still a Verbeeg on the loose. We did a bit more of exploring of different parts of Ten Towns. We visited... I'm going to need some help.
Care Dinavel and Care Conic.
Thank you. Care Dinaval and Care Conic. Thank you, Sveta. Met the speakers, did a little bit of work for them. So I would say, in fact, that this little journey that we've begun has actually been extremely eye-opening for me, and I've seen a lot more of the Ten Towns than I anticipated.
Interesting. Do you remember why you were sent here from Baldur's Gate, away from Father Alby, into the far north?
I do indeed.
Tell me.
I was sent here to try and rid this place of death, of as much death as I can, try and restore the light.
She shakes her head. You still do not understand. Very well. Although, I'm heartened to see your faith grow, particularly in the company of these friends. And she gives you all a sly smile.
By the pause.
Well, I don't know you very well yet. But come. Come in. And she sort of starts walking down to the pews.
Can I just say, Mishan, we're all very proud of Horatio. He's done some great things.
Yes, I'm sure he has.
You've done very well finding him.
Oh, I didn't find him. He turned up, as it were. And as you sort of have that bit of back and forth, coming out from a side room is a short humanoid that is wearing very heavy winter gear. All this fur and this deep sort of puffy hood, and the way that it's constructed makes him look like a little teddy bear.
Oh.
Right?
How tall is he?
He's about maybe 2 foot, just over 2 foot tall.
He's the same height as Carnelian.
Yeah, maybe he's like 2'2".
Yeah, no.
Well, you got that one right.
Oh no.
And he's got this candle in his hand, and he's like going around and he's sort of lighting various candles that are still yet to be lit.
Upon detecting a gnome, Carnelian is going to like jump and put his hand to his sword.
And he like spins around. Why'd they let a kobold in here?
What?
He's like jabbing at you with this like.
Get back!
He's jabbing at you with this candle. It's like, hey, get go on! Can't let him in here.
Back!
It's
Copper.
bad.
Oh,
Copper.
look at these two gins.
They're so
Listen,
small.
it's bad business. You gotta get rid of them.
Carnelian's just gonna like turn it, like start like yapping in Draconic. He's like, nah, not dealing with this. Not dealing with this at all. Get out of here.
And then from the altar in Mishan, you can her voice starts to boom, like she's used the thaumaturgy cantrip. Copper, this is a guest here in the house. Like, you can't let him in here. You'll get more. That's how you get more kobolds, you know.
Listen, tiny man, we've had him for a few days and we haven't found any other kobolds. It's not true.
I have not been had by anyone. How dare you all?
He spins at you and he's like, listen, lady.
I'll crouch.
And he like looks over and he's like, see? There's a fucking owlbear in here.
He's Soto, he's fine.
There's a dog. Who let a dog in here? What's going on?
Horatio, this man is very loud for such a small creature.
He's a very passionate fellow. Copper, please.
Oh,
They're my
no.
friends.
Yeah, fine. Just don't let him near any of the church coffers. You hear?
I resent that implication.
Resent it all you like. And he starts mumbling and he starts walking away.
Well, that's Copper. Now you've met Copper.
I don't want to
I wish
meet
I
him
hadn't.
again. I didn't know you were racist, Carnelian. Sorry. What's your problem with gnomes?
We fight. Not like me and him. I mean, yes, him, but like
Inherently?
kobolds and gnomes, we always fight. It's...
You don't have to fight if you don't want to.
Did you see how he treated me?
It's true, he did have a candle. It was very threatening.
He was gonna hit me.
It is exhausting, I can tell you that. Anyway, I'm glad that you're all here. So she's sort of like sidestepping the conversation, like on purpose.
Yeah.
And you can see she's a little bit exasperated. It's like, God damn it. In
Mishan,
any case,
any tidings from the last couple of days? How's the town been?
the town has been fine. As you know, we are coming up on the new moon, and the town is apprehensive at this time, as it always is.
I can imagine. Just out of curiosity, how often are these sacrifices performed? How often's the moon?
Once every new moon, a sacrifice to a reel is made. Every town must choose its sacrifice, and some are unwilling to go as far as they should, potentially. I do
How
not
many-
like it, but it has been deemed the only way that we might appease a reel.
What I was asking is, how many 10 days to how long's the lunar cycle?
It's roughly the same as an Earth lunar cycle.
Okay,
Approximately 28
Yeah.
days,
right.
give or take.
So
it's
I
it's
probably-
very analogous. So nearly 3 10-day.
So the last one may have only just happened as I left.
Yes, I think it's very likely. That
As I arrived at Bryn Shander.
I think it's very likely you've not seen one.
okay.
You may have heard about it. It's not like it's a secret in the town or anything like that, but I don't think you've seen one.
Well, if I'd been in Bryn Shander for, say, 3 weeks, and we'd been gone a few days, it must have just happened before I arrived.
Or if it happened when you arrived, you were really unaware of what was going on.
It's a sorry business, Mishan, but I understand that it's deemed necessary for the survival of the 10 towns.
For the survival of all, yes. Unpleasant business, but necessary. Sometimes the gods themselves demand sacrifices of us. This is something that you will have to learn as well, if you are going to follow your faith.
Remind me, who was the previous poor soul from the previous sacrifice?
I did not know him well, but he was just some vagabond from the streets. I think his name was Carl.
Some random NPC, I don't know.
Poor Carl.
Yes. As per tradition, he was stripped bare and left outside the gates to wander into the wilderness.
Jesus.
Of course, he did so willingly. Some have not been quite so much, and they have to be restrained for the night.
What happens to them?
It is believed that Aureel takes them. Of course, we often find the bodies sometime on an expedition. Death due to exposure.
Well, that would make sense if you're stripping them naked.
The sacrifices we make to the goddess of winter. At least here.
This is why I prefer good meat.
Have you had any dealings with Javessa?
Oh, she's been here once or twice. It's quite common for the speaker to be around. As you know, you would have seen her around here a few times. Keeping faith for the citizens is as much an important part of any politician as any other policy they may make. We are close enough.
She was a woman of faith, wasn't she?
Not faithful enough, if you mind me saying, but enough for a politician at least. She's young, though. Give it time.
Do the people like her?
Oh, yes. For someone so young, she's gained popularity quite quickly. And she became the head of the council at a very young age. Unprecedented, one might say.
Why is that?
Strong force of personality. An unyielding spirit. I'm not much one to comment, but she's popular. She's been keeping the town together through this horrible winter.
Yes, from what I've seen, she's been doing an admirable job. I think people just wanted a hero, I suppose, or just a leader that they could follow in such a desperate time.
A strong tree in the storm is always appreciated for those that shelter underneath it.
Indeed.
I think that is what Devesser is. Otherwise, everything has been as normal. We sometimes get a trickle of travellers from the 10 trails. Although, there was talk of some unusual travellers coming through. I don't think anyone stayed here, but there was some fellow that was lost for a while in the woods on the 10 trails, only to be found later. Apparently doesn't speak much. I don't know much more about it. People only stop off here for comfort, to rejuvenate the spirit.
Do you know if he's still in town?
I don't believe so, but I couldn't tell you where he went.
Was he a human?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
This was a little while ago. I didn't pay too much attention. I have other things to consider.
I see. Well,
have you had other missing people turn up here recently?
Not that I can think of, no. I don't really know what you mean by that. It's difficult to answer. This town is so large, people could go missing without you knowing. It's not like some small backwater town like Duggan's Hall where everyone knows everyone else.
Sean, have you spent any time in the other 10 towns?
Oh, I've done some what you could call light pilgrimage. I've been to many of the other 10 towns' holy sites. They're not always dedicated, of course, to Amantor, but they're sometimes useful for your own faith to visit. That's why it is heartening to see that you've started that you're getting so much from your journey now. In fact, I was originally thinking when you came back you would be needing to do some more, say, menial chores to maybe start cementing your life here, to really understand what it's like to worship, but I don't believe that is useful anymore. I believe you should continue your pilgrimage. Your faith has grown stronger from this, and I think it will only continue to grow. I think that is what's best for you now.
Thank you, Mishan. I think that's what's best as well. We were hoping to catch Devessa. Do you remember what time she roughly finishes her walk?
I can't really tell. She's always makes herself available to her people when she can. Sometimes she doesn't get back to her residence until late at night, though she's always flanked by some guards, so it's quite easy to spot eventually. Then again, I wouldn't say it is out of the realm of the possibility that she might visit here sometime soon. I haven't seen her all day today, and she does make visits quite regularly.
I see.
However, your best chance might be to try to wait outside the council hall if you have urgent business with her. She'll probably be home eventually. Or if you happen to catch her wandering about.
Mishan.
Yes. Woden, was it?
Yes, that's correct. If I was looking to get more involved in the goings-on about town, if I wanted to maybe get involved with town council, would maybe do some clerking, would Jask be the man to speak to?
He's not a head clerk. He is just one of the many clerks here. I'd suspect that you might want to put an application in at the town hall if you wish to be a clerk here at Bryn Shander. Although competition is quite fierce if you're good at reading.
I'm not.
It may be difficult then. The position of clerk often requires a lot of documentation. That's all I'll say.
Do you know Jask himself? He seemed like a strange chap.
Well, he's just an ordinary citizen of Bryn Shander. I don't know what you mean by strange.
Oh, just his general demeanor. Doesn't matter.
I see. Well, maybe what you see as strange, people here might see as normal. I'm sure people here might find it strange, a group of people walking around with a kobold, a shifter, an owlbear, and a random dog that seems to have followed the whole group.
Oh, excuse my manners. Dogcliff. Outside. Out. Go on.
You too, Otto, I guess.
Alright, we need to break this adventure here, and now it's the Otto and Dogcliff
Something-
throughout Bryn Shander.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to the local butcher's and get some sausages.
Perhaps you might consider that it might be best to restart your efforts tomorrow. It's not late yet, but it will be getting late soon. Perhaps it's good to turn in and contemplate for the night.
Not a bad idea, Mishan. I feel like we'll be just chasing our tails in the dark soon. Why not wait till tomorrow when we know where she'll be?
Can you recommend a place that is offering board?
Well, the only place that is really probably got rooms available would be the Northlook.
Is that close by?
I hope it's on the north side of town.
It is right near the North Gate.
Okay, good.
Of course, Horatio, you're welcome to stay here. Your bed is still, in essence, paid for. And you'll always be welcome to stay here when you come through.
I thank you, Mishan, but I will seek lodgings with my friends.
Aw.
Perhaps then, and she sort of thinks, we do have an extra room available. If you're willing to share rooms, I wouldn't mind putting them up for one evening.
What do you think?
Is she willing to
Friends?
house the animals?
Yes.
I'm sure I'm sure a house such as this would have some form of stable for which a dog and an owlbear can lie together and stay warm. It doesn't say so on any of my material here, but surely that would be a thing in this town.
Thank you, Mishan. That's a very generous offer, and I'm very grateful for it. We were a little concerned that perhaps there may be some issues at the Seeking Lodgings, given our unusual appearance.
Yes, and she looks at Carnelian. Some people are not enlightened by the light, as it were.
Well, I always say don't judge a book by its cover.
Speaking of
Books.
Did you ever find any more holy texts? I know that you were quite light when you arrived.
Shan, you took the words out of my mouth. I was literally about to ask you, do you have any more books?
Mostly to do with a monitor. This does tongue tie me.
A minotaur.
A minotaur. Mostly to do with a monitor. I do not have much material on Kalemvor, although I do have some general texts about the gods themselves in which Kalemvor appears. You're welcome to search our small library.
I'd love to browse your small library. Thank you.
Of course. Well, unless there's anyone that has questions for me. Horatio, you know that your room is upstairs, and the room opposite is the empty one.
Did anyone touch my stuff?
No, your things have been left as they were.
How
Just
much
kidding.
for the room?
Since you are Horatio's friends, I will allow you this one night under the grace of the Morning Lord. However, I must insist if you stay longer, you perhaps look for lodging at the Northlook.
What can you tell us about the Northlook? Is it a nice place? Is it a tavern?
A tavern and an inn.
Ah, perfect.
It's an establishment that is frequented by the adventuring type, mercenaries. Such a rowdy lot, it can be a dangerous place in Bryn Shander, of course. But the tap room is good, or good enough, and well stocked. If you're the type of people that are looking for adventure around the 10 towns in general, it's not a bad place to go.
It does sound kind of fun. Maybe we should stay there tonight.
I think it might be easy for you and I to stay there, but perhaps our travelling companions may encounter some difficulties. Even if we do manage to secure a room, I think they would be given a very hard time by the other occupants of the tavern.
Free room is a free room.
You're always welcome to go there if you wish.
We could do some light recon, wouldn't? Would you like to go there to perhaps ask around town, or?
Maybe later, yeah. Once it gets dark.
Yeah. We might be able to get a couple of side quests. You never know your luck.
Good call.
Alright, so what do you guys want to do?
So it's probably, 4 or 5 now, or?
Yeah, it's getting late afternoon now.
So maybe we should...
Of course, this is a much bigger city than the smaller places you've been. So there are places that are going to be open. The inn's going to still probably have patrons. Even some of the places like shops might still be open, potentially, if you want to go.
Bookshops? I mean, actually, no, I might check a bookshop tomorrow. I've got some books here now. Maybe we could check out the tavern and try and get some leads. I don't know. What do you think, friends?
Well, I'd like to go to the tavern, but if not everyone's comfortable, then that's fine.
We can go to the tavern, just not sleep there.
We can visit. We don't have to stay long if it's not turning out as we'd hoped.
I do have something I want to run by you guys, and maybe quietly, so maybe we can find a booth.
Oh, Mishan will just leave, shall she?
Sorry, Mishan, I forgot you were here.
You mean, like, the room upstairs that we've been offered?
Well, yeah, so we could do it before we go to the tavern, maybe.
Would you prefer to do it before we go?
Stares at Mishan.
Oh, don't worry, I'm just leaving.
Bye, Mishan.
Come on, Copper, I'm sure they don't want to see you either.
Monitor will be with you.
We're just going to walk down this aisle now. Take a left-hand turn.
Copper just pulls down his ear horn, like he's leaning in.
Carnelian's is gonna like squint and watch the gnome walk away.
Yeah, you can find some time if you want to just talk amongst yourselves.
Take my hood off because it's not working as a disguise.
Well, at least not to Mishan.
Not to her, maybe, yeah.
Nope. Could have been a tabaxi, she doesn't know.
You could have been a tabaxi, why weren't you?
She just assumed your race.
I know, right?
It's almost like the gods speaking into her ear.
Rude.
It was too exotic.
Oh,
Exotic
and a
creatures.
kobold isn't?
Pretty freaky.
I wasn't expecting you to go kobold, so maybe I should have gone into backseat.
Never go full kobold.
No. If you were a book, you'd be leatherbound.
I don't believe that. I just thought of the joke. Well,
We're going upstairs?
let's go into... everyone come into my room. We can hang out in my room.
Oh, yeah, let's see your room.
Show me your toys.
Let's get more passes for privacy in this town.
So you all head up to Horatia's room. You open it. It's not super big. There's a main bed, and you can see what is most likely to going to be maybe a hammock or a cot. I could probably have another second person, but it would be quite tight.
Check out my full healers set.
Whoa, cool.
Unfortunately, that appears to have been pilfered by someone.
Wait, where's my scalpel? Where's my forceps?
Clamps.
My clamps? Scissors?
Is this a Mad Max?
These are surgical tools. I was a surgeon in Baldur's Gate.
Did you do surgery in this room?
No, I just wasn't sure if I would need them or not. I was sent here to assist in whatever capacity I could, and at the time, very much my main capacity was as a surgeon, so I brought them with me.
Do you think Copper took them?
Probably.
Stuff.
I'll ask him later. He's very opinionated and not afraid to stir the excrement, as it were.
Yes.
But he's a genuine fellow. He pays his rent, and he's harmless. In fact, if I consult my
Memory.
He says he's only 13.
I need to scroll down through my memory briefly. Yes, he's just a tinkerer, as far as I could gather. I never really asked him his intent and why he's here. He seems harmless.
Does he worship a minotaur?
See, he actually, as I mean with stirring the excrement, he deliberately refers to Lathander just to anger her. Anger. Mishan, thank you. When I said Lathander, then Mishan vanished in my head. Yeah.
He's not here to make friends, that's for sure.
Well, he has his own personality, and he doesn't seem too concerned about the opinions of others. I'm yet to determine why he's actually here.
Have you told us how long you were here before you came to Goodmead?
I was in Bryn Shander for approximately 3 weeks. It's the only place in the 10 towns that I came straight here from the south.
Is everything in this room everything you had with you?
Yes. This is everything I brought.
Well, hang on. Why did you even come to Bryn Shander?
I was sent here by the Pause for Knowledge. I was sent here by, what was his name again? Ainsley.
You should write these
Albie.
people down.
Yeah, I should. I thought I had it in notes.
Father Albie.
Father Albie.
Temple of Kalimdor and Baldur's Gate.
Correct, yes. I was sent here by my master, Father
Albie.
Albie. Fuck.
Albie, fuck. That's an interesting
Well,
name.
Albie.
He's got a lot of kids.
I don't know. The names, when I'm thinking like this, names just take a backseat, like, really hard. Albie. Father Albie in Baldur's Gate was my... he was the head priest.
Yeah, you had mentioned a while back that you were here for certain reasons. It's just that they seem to not expect you to be here. From what Mishan was talking about you. Kind of appeared.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that contact was made and that I don't think my coming was a complete surprise. I'm not sure why she said that. I was sent here for a reason, and I'm pretty sure that Albie would have sent word in advance.
Is Baldur's Gate particularly far away?
From here? I don't know. I think it's kind of not that far. I can't remember.
I actually have a map right here.
Yeah, it's a good distance, I think, down the Sword Coast, but if you've got a map...
Baldur's Gate. Oh shit, yeah, it's like almost the length of the coast.
Yeah.
Oh, heck of a trip.
Probably 3/4 of the way down.
Oh, right, yes, well. Then yes, Carnelian, it was a trip.
Is it south from Waterdeep? Oof, yeah, that is a long way.
Oh, wait, sorry, no, it's just north of Waterdeep.
Just north of Waterdeep, okay.
AKA where a lot of adventures are set, apparently, in 5
Oh, wait,
in
no.
the same area.
Sorry, I was looking at Candlekeep.
The Remembered Realms.
Yeah, Candlekeep's near.
Been doing too
Well,
much
the
Candlekeep.
Candlekeep's just south of Baldur's Gate, isn't it?
It's way south of Waterdeep.
A while away.
Yeah.
Because it's like Luskan, then Neverwinter, then Waterdeep, then Baldur's Gate. Not that Carnelian knows any of this. This is just me playing too much
Yeah.
D&D.
Well then, what did you want to talk about?
Well, you know how my brilliant mind works. I'm just constantly thinking,
It's amazing.
tying together strings and, like, connections, and my mind map is just constantly in motion.
I don't know what a cylinder is, but you're firing on all of them.
I am. I'm always firing on them. That wasn't the first time we've heard the name Jask.
Isn't it?
And I don't know if it was a coincidence or not, but old mate, that's scribe from Caer Dineval or something. What was his name, Callan?
Lanthus, I think you're talking
Yeah.
about.
That's right.
Yes, when we spoke to Lanthus and he told us about those missing people, Jask Tibbet was one of the ones that he mentioned from Doggin's Hole. Just curious.
Remarkable
the
memory.
first person we speak to. That's what I'm saying. It's my mind. It's insane how smart I am.
It's amazing how these
I believe
webs
this
get
might be a
woven.
bit of a mistake on the DM's part. It's
amazing.
trying to come up with a name.
It's amazing how these webs get woven and then people get tangled in them, isn't it?
It's
Anyway,
amazing how two people can have the exact same
Same
first
name.
name.
This is the John of Icewind
So
Dale.
we're going to retcon part of that, and his
Jask,
name
yeah.
was Jaska.
Jessica.
anyway, while I was explaining that to you, I thought about every possible scenario, and it can't be him.
Yeah.
It simply can't be him.
He
Yep.
wouldn't, yeah, the old man wouldn't lie. So.
You even immediately were like, this isn't a small town like Duggan's Hole.
I know.
And I was like, oh my god, he was from Duggan's Hole.
That's and I got to say, full marks, Andrew.
You know what?
take
You know what? I messed up, but inspiration can go to Andrew.
Woo!
Well done.
Excellent deduction, and if this was slightly better planned out, you'd be onto something. As it is, you're not.
Look, we won't follow up with that lead.
As you guys are discussing a lot of different topics about what you want to do, there's a knock at the door.
Want me to get it, Mishan?
Did that knock come from
Oh, wait,
a
you mean my
2 foot
room?
tall height or a 5 foot tall
If you're
height?
listening really carefully...
Oh, it's my room. I thought
Yeah, it's your room.
the house.
No,
Sorry.
no, to your room.
Yes? Who is it?
And then the like door swings open as someone's clearly had to jump to get the handle, and right in front of you is the fuzzy, wrapped up teddy bear look of Copper.
I'll put my hand on Carnelian's shoulder. I'm like, it's okay.
You're going to have to like crouch down to do that.
Crouch.
I'll get up and address him.
Damn it! I thought you'd be alone.
Couple, what is it? We're amongst friends.
He squints at Carnelian. If you say so. Do you have a minute, Horatio?
If it's worth saying to me, it's worth saying to us.
Fine. Yes, you're probably right. All right. Well, look, I'm coming in, and just closes the door behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Now you stay there. Don't be drawing swords now.
My sword will stay right where it is.
What is your secret, Copper? You didn't come here to threaten Carnelian, did you?
No. Look, I heard your conversation with Mishan. It seems like you're not going to be staying in Bryn Shander long, by the sounds of it.
No, potentially not. Why do you ask?
Out and about in the 10 towns, I think was the idea. Yes, possibly.
Possibly.
Look, this is really hard for me to ask, but there's a friend of mine who I haven't heard from them in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Macradius.
Macradius. Could you spell that for me, Copper?
Macradius. Readus.
Macretus.
What kind of mineral is that?
Yeah.
It's a hard one.
What bone is that?
He
Or what muscle is that? It's a region of the brain, I think.
Right in Macretus.
I remember having to surgically remove someone's Macretus once.
Look, I know it's funny.
sorry, your
I know
friend
his
is
name's
missing,
funny.
I'm
They're,
sorry.
they're a dear friend of mine,
Yes.
and I haven't heard from them in some time. There's a cabin far to the north of here, just past the Lonely Wood, along the river, that potentially... look, I don't know all the details. I just know that the creators have found a cabin, and there was something that he was looking into. He was conducting some really strange research. He couldn't get much out of him at the time, but he said something about ending the Frost Maiden's eternal winter, which, of course, seems important. I thought he was a little bit crazy, but, you know...
Copper, that's the whole reason. Well, that's remarkable. If he does, he'll quite literally save the 10 towns.
Yes, well, I'm not so sure. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I think that their heart's obviously in the right place, but given to flights of a bit of fancy. But look, anyway, the details are not necessarily important. They're conducting some research in an old cabin, and I haven't heard from them in a while. Look, this is really very much out of the blue, but if you happen to be around the same area, do you think you could look into them for me? See if they're alright?
For sure, Copper, yes. What region do you think roughly it could be in again? Would you mind marking it on our map?
Look, all I can tell you is it's further north than Tourmaline and Lonely Wood, past Smer Duldon, where the river joins back up, although it's frozen over. It's somewhere to the north of there. I think it's not far from the river. I don't know the exact location.
Okay. Well, I'll write this down. Like Horatio, I'll write these notes down in terms of landmarks and stuff. Was he your friend?
Yes.
How did you meet Macretus?
Oh, funny, I guess. We both came up together in one of Lathander's churches, of course. Macretus was always better than me. Whilst I've been an acolyte for some time, he became somewhat of a quite good sage, if you will.
Was he a tinkerer like yourself?
In a way, but more along the lines of faith, I suppose. Maybe that's why they were better than me.
I wouldn't say he's better than you, Copper. You're a very capable tinkerer. I've seen you in action.
You know what I mean. Their faith is stronger, if you will. They've gone a bit further in the hierarchy of the church. Look, that's not really important to me. What's important is they're a good friend of mine, and I don't know if they're safe. I was expecting to maybe hear back from them a week ago. It's really hard for me to leave here, though, just by myself, and I don't know anyone that can take me into the wild. And I don't really want to leave Mishan here by herself either. If you're out and about, and look, if it's out of the way, sure, I'll find someone else. But if you happen to be nearby, just look into them for me, will you?
Yes, we will, Copper. I promise.
Before the week, how long have they been away for?
I think it's been a good 2 months.
2 months.
Yes.
They had been in contact with you up until a week ago.
I would get messages every so often, yes. Not on any kind of schedule, just every so often so I know that they were alright. But I haven't received one in a while, and I'm really worried.
Copper, I have a question for you, my good man.
Yes, sure.
What was it that brought you and Macretus to the 10 towns?
Well, I guess we'd heard about the everlasting winter. It's not something that you can necessarily ignore. As a follower of Lathander, light, dawn, all of these are very important. I know that Mishan doesn't believe so, but I believe that the light is one and the same, and it's been denied here for so long. Well, it was not really my idea, but I guess the idea was to bring a little bit of light to the 10 towns, even in some small way.
It's very admirable of you, Copper.
I can't say I've done much. I've just been sitting here arguing with Mishan most days. But the creators, they were onto something. Look, that's all. If you can just look in on them, that would be fine.
Yes,
I'm sure everything's okay. Maybe I worry a bit too much.
You have my word, Copper.
Thank you.
So, do you have the last handwritten note that you have received from him?
Sure. I've got it on here somewhere, and he pats his pockets and then produces a crumpled note.
Someone else better read this. I'm not the best at reading.
I'll take the note.
You get a note, and it's just a pretty standard, almost like a journal entry. You can see that it's addressed to Copper.
Is it written in Gnomish, though?
No, it's just written in Common.
Okay, they thought ahead on that one.
Yeah. It's just a standard note.
It's gibberish.
It doesn't have anything too much in detail, just that, the cabin's been cold and progress has been slow. And it's just a little bit of detail about sort of surviving past the towns. Doesn't seem to be anything untoward in the note.
So did you say past Lonelywood?
Yes. Further north.
So far away.
Yeah, there's a few days.
Yeah. It's definitely out in the
That's
wilds.
further north than Kerkonig.
Yes.
So he's also a gnome.
We didn't ask.
Well, he said tinkerer. I just assumed another tinkerer gnome.
Copper's like, I'm still here.
Oh, hello!
No, he's not a gnome. He's just a
Yes.
standard, regular human.
Oh, okay.
Copper,
Yes.
you're obviously a tinkerer, a fine one, in fact. What have you been working on recently?
Just bits and pieces, something that I'd like to call a watch, so that people can keep time in this everlasting winter. I can never get it right, though. The springs are too small.
Would you like me to have a look at it?
I prefer not. It's not finished yet.
Very well.
And unfinished projects make me nervous.
Well, once you sort it out, I'll be your first customer.
Good. And he's just sort of like, I don't know if it's ever going to be finished, but sure.
Anything in terms of adventuring that may assist us on our quest for Madrivus?
Adventuring's not really my
Cretus?
thing, I guess. I just tinker with small things, as it were.
Okay.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Horatio. You're a stand-up guy. I'm going to head unless there's anything else you want from me. I find myself in the presence too long of kobolds. Makes my skin itch. Anyway, I'll be going.
Goodbye, Copper.
Bye, Copper.
Gets to the door. And he's like, waits for
Bye.
a second. And then it's like, no one comes to help. He's like, eh.
Why did you close it behind you?
He
Open it.
opens it. Thank you. All right. Goodbye. He leaves.
Ka-dunk. Well, I want to read some books in the temple. Anything else you want to do for the rest of today? Do you want to go to the tavern and ask around?
Yeah, I can do that on my own if you guys don't want
I do actually also want to go to the tavern. I want to find out maybe what happened to that person who got lost. And if they're no longer in the 10 towns, then they probably stayed at the tavern. So perhaps I can find out where they went.
Sounds to me like a tavern would be a great idea. However, I don't think we can really do that tonight. We're going to have to just find out how that turns out. Next week on Reflex Save.
Okay.
Save!
Sure you want to keep that one in? Yep. Alright. Good old pre-ramble. 90% of it gets cut. The words I'm speaking right now are never going to be listened to by another human's ears, except for Callan.
Possibly not true.